Althea Gibson was the tallest, wildest tomboy in the history of Harlem. Everybody said so. Her mama said,
"Just give that child a nickel for a loaf of bread and see what happens. As soon as she catches sight of those boys playing stickball, my bread is gone for that."
Her daddy said,
"That girl stays out so late playing basketball, she doesn't even come home some nights."
Her teacher said,
"Half the time she doesn't even return from recess. I see a lot more of Althea if I taught lessons on the playground."
The policeman said,
"She's a fast runner, all right, but you can't make a sport out of nicking sweet potatoes. That's against the law."
They all said,
"Althea Gibson, you're nothing but trouble."
I didn't care what they said. I knew I could be somebody someday. Somebody big like Jasmine, Charlie Parker, or Baxter Sugar Ray. In the meantime, just one thing to care about in this row, the game.
Yes, give her a stick, a paddle, a hoop, or a ball, and Althea Gibson was good to go. But let me introduce the fella that got her going in the right direction, Buddy Walker.
I was the play leader down on 143rd Street where Althea lived. At night, I was a musician in one of Harlem Society orchestras. When I watched Althea play paddle tennis, I didn't see nothing but trouble. No, sir, except maybe trouble for the rubber ball. What I saw in Althea was pure possibility. Times were hard, but I scrounged up enough money to buy Althea a string tennis racket at a second-hand store.
It didn't look like much next to the big one pedal I used for street tennis.
After Althea practiced a little, I asked her to bring at the Harlem River tennis courts to play a few sets with her. As Althea covered the court, I forgot all about the wild tomboy who roamed the streets of Harlem. What I saw was music in the way she moved.
But Buddy wasn't the only one. Other players stopped their games to get a good look at her. Althea saw other players watching her.
It felt good. Made me feel like I was somebody.
After one game, trying to contain his excitement, Buddy said,
"Althea, this is Juan Searle, a friend of mine. We have an idea."
"Hi, Althea. I belong to the Cosmopolitan, the ritziest tennis club in Harlem. All the Sugar Hill Society people belong there. You play tennis at the Cosmopolitan? You can make something of yourself."
After the members of the club saw what Althea could do, Buddy and Juan convinced a few of them to pay for lessons with the club's one-armed tennis pro, Fred Johnson. Fred tried to improve Althea's ways on and off the court.
I loved playing a new game on a big fancy court, but I didn't like being told how to act. Never said I wanted to be a fine lady.
She complained to Buddy.
Unfortunately for her, the members of the Cosmopolitan didn't like her wild ways either. They shook their heads and whispered, "Nothing but trouble, that one."
Miss Rhoda Smith was a nice society lady who bought Althea her first tennis outfit.
Now Althea could look like all the other players on the court. I made time to play regularly with Althea who was structured in the polite rules of the sport. Now Althea, when a loose ball rolls onto the court, you don't just bat it out of the way in any old direction. You send it back to the player it belongs to. That's how it's done in court tennis.
Miss Smith, can't we just play tennis?
Even Buddy Walker tried to explain the importance of keeping cool.
You've got to decide, Althea. Are you going to play your game, or are you going to let the game play you? When I go to the jazz club, I play like a tiger, but I wear a tuxedo.
Althea threw her tennis racket on the ground.
I don't fit with these rich society folks. I'd rather punch somebody lights out at Stillman's gym.
Althea, I still believe you could be somebody.
A year later, Althea was in her first real tennis tournament. She played well, but she lost in the finals to Nana Davis. Following the match, Nana told reporters,
After I beat Althea Gibson, she headed straight to the grandstand without bothering to shake my hand. Some kid had been laughing at her and she was going to throw him out. I tell you, Althea Gibson is nothing but trouble.
It took time, a good long time. But slowly, Althea learned that wanting to slug her opponent as soon as she started losing her match made her a worse tennis player than if she kept her cool.
With Buddy's help, I realized I could dress up in white and act like a lady and still be delivering lights out of the ball.
Tennis changed Althea, all right, but just as importantly,
Ever since Miss Gibson rallied in the second set of the women's finals, she has proven to be nothing but trouble for seasoned and U.S. world champ Louise Bro.
Althea changed tennis.
She did it, ladies and gentlemen. She did it. Althea Gibson has won the championship here at Wimbledon Center Court.
With that, Althea Gibson became the first African American, man or woman, ever to compete in and win the coveted Wimbledon Cup, long considered the highest honor in tennis.
And she never did forget the man who first saw the champion of the world in the wildest tomboy in Harlem. As she accepted the Wimbledon Cup, she said,
Tonight is the conclusion of a long and satisfying journey. It all started on one of the New York Play streets when Buddy Walker, a street supervisor, said,
Althea, I believe you could become a good lawn tennis player.
With those words, he handed me my first tennis racket. Tonight I thank Buddy Walker for the most satisfying victory.